U.S. Coast Guard says a deep-sea submersible carrying 5 people on a voyage to the century-old wreck of the Titanic has been found in pieces. All 5 people have been killed amid what's being called a catastrophic implosion. A robotic diving vehicle deployed from a Canadian ship discovered a debris field from the submersible Titan on Thursday morning. It was located on the seabed nearly 500 meters from the bow of the Titanic. Philip Crowther has more from Boston.
It's a tragic ending to an international search effort that also offered a glimmer of hope at one point during these 4 days of this search effort in that remote part of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, though confirmed, of course, those 5 men are dead, confirmed by the US Coast Guard here in Boston and shortly beforehand also by the company that organized this expedition to the wreckage of the Titanic. The US Coast Guard saying that it was an underwater drone, a so-called ROV, that found those debris coming from the Titan at about 500 meters distance from the wreckage of the Titanic. More details here from the US Coast Guard and Rear Admiral John Morga.
An ROV, or remote operated vehicle, from the vessel Horizon Arctic discovered the tail cone of the Titan submersible. The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber.
That means that it was an implosion that destroyed this vessel, and that also means that there was absolutely no chance of survival for those 5 men who were on board. There are still a few open questions here, and some the US Navy is answering somewhat at this point, because it is now saying that it did detect what ended up most likely being the sound of that implosion on Sunday, that it gave that information to the US Coast Guard, but that it wasn't sure enough that that's exactly what happened to call off any search and rescue effort. That's why it continued 4 days. With hindsight now, we do know that the US Navy appears to have detected that implosion. There are more questions, of course, as to how this could happen in the first place. Was this vehicle really ready to dive to such depths where the wreckage of the Titanic is found, 4 kilometers deep in the Atlantic Ocean? It had, of course, been there before, but there have been a lot of experts, scientists, and also a former employee who have been asking whether really this was a vessel that was ready to go on such a risky mission. What was a search and rescue effort is now a recovery mission, a mission to try and get more parts of that submersible to the surface, but also a more grim mission to find the remains of the 5 men who died. Philip Crowther with the Associated Press for CGTN in Boston.